Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I want to address a couple of things on the Chevelle that have been bothering me. On the highway, around 90 kilometers an hour, there seems to be a bit of a vibration. It's not really there at 80, and it seems to go away at 100, which is around 60 miles an hour for you Imperial folks. It doesn't seem to do it on the street tires as much, but I noticed it for sure on the drag radials. And since I have the street front tires on, I have to imagine that it's got to be the rear tires. So I'm going to check the runout, or the concentric alignment of the wheels, to see if there's any issue there. I'm also going to see if there's any kind of control arm or bracket that might be loose. I don't think that's going to be the case, but I'll check. I don't think it's the drive shaft itself, as it is a Denny's drive shaft that is supposed to be balanced at 10,000 RPM, so that should be good. And as long as nothing is shifted, my driveline angles should be also okay. Ever since I've had this car, there's always been a vibration or a rattling sound right in this corner. I always thought it was in the dash, so I pulled that all apart, checked everything, could never find the source. Well, yesterday, I was driving around with a buddy, and he stuck his arm out the window and held this piece of trim right here, and what do you know? The sound went away. So if you look how much vibration is in that, or how much slop is in that trim. So this seems to be our source of our problem. So I'm going to try to remove this trim and see if there's a way I can snug it up and make it better. So we'll see if that is possible. I used a dial indicator to check both lateral and radial runout, starting with the tire itself. I then moved to the wheel, which is a Weld Pro Star that is lug centered, but it's a pretty good fit. After removing the wheel, I put the dial indicator on the brake rotor hub and found quite a lot of runout, which, if you look closely, you can see a slight wobble when looking between the rotor and the brake pads. So I pulled the brakes off and checked at the axle flange, where again I found excess runout. I then repeated the process on the passenger side. Looking at all the data, you can clearly see there's some pretty significant runout on the driver's side. Tires are difficult to measure with any accuracy because the tires flex, and if the car is sat for a while, there can be a slight memory in the tire in the form of a subtle flat spot. But drilling down, it shows the axle flange is really out. Because any misalignment gets worse the farther away from the center line you go, the vibrations are more noticeable with the 28-inch tall drag radials versus the 26.5-inch street tires. As for the window trim right here, well, it's held in with these little clips, and all I really did was just kind of bend it in a way so that when I install it, you can see it goes, oops, it helps if it goes the correct way. It goes into this little channel right there, and it provides a tighter fit. I can't even get that one in by hand. You can see I did it with this one already, and it's very secure, at least much more than it was before. I also hammered down this edge right here just a little bit. The idea is to pinch it just a smidge in the goal of having just a slightly tighter fit. So we'll put this all together and see if we made any difference at all. It's definitely not wiggling as much as it did before, so still a bit of a gap, but we'll live with it for now and see how it goes. Well, the sound is gone, so it looks like we fixed something. So the only conclusion I can come to is that I have a bent axle, which really sucks because I've had this problem since day one of installing the rear end from Moser. Those who have been following along know that it's a brand new Moser differential, so new axles, diff, housing, everything. And I've never been in any kind of accident, so the axles came like that. Whether it got damaged in shipping or someone dropped it, whatever, I don't know. But I have talked to Moser, and they have suggested that I could ship the axle down and they could try to true that up. Well, being I live in northern Canada, that doesn't seem like a good option for me because shipping and handling alone would probably cost as much as a new axle. They also suggested that I can take the axle down to a machine shop and they can throw it in a lathe and machine down the surface on the flange. That's all fine. However, if the axle shaft is bowed, that means the flange is going to be going like this, right? And yeah, I can shave that down and true it up to be nice and square, but I don't see how that's going to fix the radial alignment of it. So theoretically, the axle should still be going like this, meaning I'll have an oscillation in the wheel, and that could potentially still be a vibration. Now, Mosier is pretty confident to say that if I get that machine down, that should fix any vibration that I have. Well, let's hope so. It's certainly the cheaper option, and so I think what I'll do is rip it out and take it down to a machine shop, and hopefully they can fix this. So I got my axle back from the machine shop, and the machinist did a radial runout check here and a lateral runout check here off this flange. And apparently this axle has 47 thou of runout right off of this surface and 29 thou of lateral runout off of the flange right here, which is exactly the same that I got off of this surface right here. So this axle apparently is bent. And I asked the machinist if he could fix this, and he wasn't comfortable doing anything to it because he feels like this bearing surface is still going to be out no matter what. And plus, I don't want to put any kind of heat to this or bend it in a way that's going to create any kind of stress fractures or any sort of metal fatigue. Plus, I don't want to mess up the heat treatment. I did ask about getting this surface right here turned down so it's true. Yes, he could do that, but as I expected, the radial runout will still be there. And in no time, I'm just going to burn through this bearing. So I need a new axle. I've already talked to the people I need to get that process moving, and it's going to be at least a couple of weeks, if not longer, before I get a new axle. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this sucker back in the car just so I could run it for now. On a side note, I did receive my replacement ring and pinion set that I've been waiting for months, as the gears in the Mosier rear end that I currently have been howling right from the beginning, and it's super annoying. So I'm hoping that this is going to fix that issue. It also came with, you know, the shims in the bearings, which is great. So I'm excited to get this installed, but it's not going in until I get the axle swapped over, the new axle in. Who knows, maybe there's some sort of connection there. But unfortunately, this means this video is a to be continued. But please hit that like button, subscribe, and thanks for watching.